So the questions are these. How can we really activate the best of the private sector to meet the challenges of the real world? Is there a way to accelerate my career that doesn't involve boring online or classroom courses? And can I really impact people in the developing world with the skills that I have? Can I finally feel proud of what I know? Those are the questions, and this podcast will give you the answers. My name is Philippa White, and this is TIE Unearthed. Keep listening, and you can follow us on our journey as we show you how we're connecting the private sector with the social sector to make change. Hi, Philippa White here, and welcome to episode 4 of TIE's podcast, How You Can Stand Out as a Leader and Change the World. This is a big day. I'm so thrilled to be announcing TIE Accelerator, our exciting new offering. Finally, for the first time ever, individuals can get involved with TIE without being sponsored by their companies. This is huge for so many reasons. But before I get into that, let me remind you of TIE's backstory. Now, you can check out our TIE Backstory podcast for the full story, and I do highly recommend you listen to it. But since 2007, we've been taking professionals from the corporate world and getting them to work with social initiatives across the globe that really need their skills. Our corporate clients have looked to us to help unleash the full potential of their future leaders through self-discovery and experiential learning, and to make a difference to communities and people around the world. Professionals have been working in places they've never been to before, with people they've never worked with before, often in a language they've probably never spoken before. They don't have their usual team to help them out, and only a fraction of the money they usually have to create something. They only had an objective and 30 days to reach it. And the results have been extraordinary. It's a real win-win for CEOs, participants, and the social initiatives. Now, this past January, 2020 was looking like an incredible year. We had 4 new clients lined up, loads of fantastic projects written and ready to be filled. And then COVID-19 hit. And like so many other companies around the world, this hit us big time. Borders shut, no international travel, and our business model since 2007 sends people internationally. Borders need to be open. And to add to the challenges, our lovely, loyal clients are companies who, like us, have equally been feeling the hit. Overnight, our business model crumbled. And then, a few days after things started to shut down in Brazil, which is where I live, me, then my 5-year-old, and shortly afterwards, my 9-year-old, all managed to get COVID-19. To say this was a difficult time is an understatement. Everything was collapsing around me. But the emails started to flood in from various partners around the world, and the conversations were ongoing with all of our partners around the Global South. They needed help now. I knew we had to make this work. We had to figure this out, and fast. NGOs need our help now more than ever before. And there are so many people that want to be the change that they want to see in this world, and are looking to learn in ways that are more interesting than boring traditional classroom or online courses full of management theory. We needed to bring these worlds together, and we needed to make TIE accessible to more people. So it was at this stage that I connected with Mel Parsey, who we have with us today.
Hello.
Hi, Mel. Sorry, you had to listen to all of that, but I just wanted to give a bit of a background for everybody. Now, let me tell people, our listeners, just a little bit more about you. So Mel Parsey is the Chief Strategy Officer at the global agency BeReal, and she's a TIE alumnus. So Mel, perhaps you can tell our listeners how we know each other and a little bit more about you.
Of course. Well, firstly, let me say thank you very much, Philippa, for having me on. I'm delighted to be able to talk about the TIE Accelerator, and hopefully won't bore you with a bit of the backstory in terms of me. So firstly, should we go back in time a bit? Because in terms of
Perfect.
when I first met you, it was many moons ago when I was a fellow with WPP. And I know in your last podcast, you spoke with John Steele, who led the WPP fellowship for many years. First of all, it's incredibly daunting to follow John on any stage or podcast or anything. That should be stated. And as he said, the program, I think as it was originally conceived, was about growing the next generations of leaders in the advertising and communication space. And John and the former CEO of WPP, Sir Martin Sorrell, were, I think, kind of ahead of their time, that they recognized that the world increasingly needed leaders that were not only multidisciplinary by design, but that also were cross-cultural. That in essence, they needed IQ plus EQ plus kind of some form of cultural quotient as well, if they were going to be effectively able to understand the complex, interconnected global dynamics and challenges that were kind of unfolding around us that shaped not only our place in the world, but our clients' place. And so I was incredibly fortunate that John, way back when, saw potential in me and actually gave me a place on the program. And for context, when John first met me, I was a secondary school teacher or high school teacher in North London.
Yes, I forgot.
Yeah. I literally had to ask somebody to cover my classes while I went to meet the man, the legend, John Steele.
Wow.
I know.
Wow.
It's crazy to think back. But I'm also incredibly fortunate that not only did he give me a place on the WPP fellowship, but he also introduced me to you and to TIE. So I think John said this in the last podcast that, you know, while he ran the fellowship, he sent 20 something fellows on TIE projects around the world. Incredible.
Yeah.
And that he saw TIE as a way to accelerate the learning curve and career trajectory of fellows. And, you know, someone once told me that the best way to learn is to be exposed to new people and to new problems. And I think John just implicitly understood that TIE does both in just such a short time frame, that it's kind of amazing to see what can be accomplished over those 30 days. And I'll talk a little bit about that, but from a personal level and a professional level. So as such, I found myself transported from my day-to-day job leading strategy on big campaigns for global brands at the global ad agency J. Walter Thompson in New York, to working with this incredible organization in Recife, focused on providing safe spaces, education, support for children and their families living in the local favelas. So not too far away from you. And that was when I got to finally meet you in person. But coming from that experience, and over the years that have passed, I've spoken with others, both from WPP and other organizations who've been on TIE. And it's been amazing to see how consistent the feedback is in terms of, and when we've just been chatting with each other about like, what did we get out of TIE and what was the experience like? And everybody talks about the same pivotal moment in their growth. And that, you know, true to what John believed, that kind of moment of kind of realization, not from just a, you know, like what are the things that are important to me, but more in terms of where do I want to invest my energies and my time. And I came back to New York with a renewed sense of purpose, a belief in what was possible in terms of how, you know, the private and public sectors can work together to do more together. And that's probably why I then jumped into helping build a new practice at the agency I was at to work more closely with nonprofit organizations, which in turn led to work that I was incredibly proud of. And in some ways, it's pretty much steered every career decision since.
How amazing. How amazing.
Yeah, well, going back to that, you know, where do you invest your energies? Where do you invest your time? And, you know, as such, I really sought out people and organizations with a strong sense of purpose that likewise were pretty intent on making things that helped move people forward. And that kind of brings us to today, or more specifically 3 months ago.
that phone call.
Well, I just started a new role with a group called Be Real that you mentioned. So they're a global independent creative agency and they've got deep expertise in digital and exploring possibilities of culture and technology. And everything was great. Day one, I came into work, and it was the same day that the pandemic also took hold. Day two, I presented signs of COVID. Next week, the daycare shut. And I think like everybody else, I was just trying to make sense of what was happening in the world. And then an email from you, which turned into a phone call, as you said, which turned into then a work session where we pulled on some of the tools I'd been building for clients to start to think about what comes next for TIE and how you could pivot in this moment. And it was kind of amazing. And from that, the seeds of this new program were planted. And within a matter of days, you came back to say it's on, it's happening, which I think says a lot about you, Philippa, just in terms of the speed by which you kind of rally around ideas and just make them happen. And I also subsequently then brought others from Be Real in. I introduced them to you, to TIE, to this program, to the potential of it. Yeah. And Be Real just jumped straight in. They said yes straight away to giving time, energy, resources to help create the TIE Accelerator program, which is incredible. I mean, given also that I was relatively new to the organization, but the team kind of really did rally around.
It's amazing.
Yeah,
amazing. They really did. So I'll give because I'd really like people to better understand as well, or our listeners, to better understand the strategy and sort of where we got to. But just to, obviously you touched on this already, but in our last podcast, John Steele did talk about, and obviously I'd love you guys to listen to it if you haven't listened to it already, but talked about working with Al Gore and Ban Ki-moon on the climate change brief and how he gathered the best people who had the right experiences as part of their WPP fellowship to work with him on that. And as you mentioned, you were one of those people asked to work on it when you were at JWT. And as you've mentioned, social environmental issues are so important to you. And of course, you went on TIE, as mentioned, and you worked on this famous climate change brief. But as you also mentioned, working on socially focused or purpose-driven work is just essential to you. And obviously, when everything kicked off, in TIE's world, I just want to point out, the fact that you so kindly helped us not only strategize and launch the TIE Accelerator initiative, but you got the Be Real team behind all of this. And they also, it was clear that, purpose-driven work and socially focused projects are obviously also really, really important to them. And the fact in such a short amount of time, we managed to get, I don't even know how many people in total worked on this from Be Real, but 12, 15, I have no idea, but we just had so many conversations with people that were so dedicated and interested and just gave their time. And I'm going to be forever grateful. But perhaps you can talk a bit about the strategy and why in your mind is offering TIE Accelerator right now so important? Why did Be Real so kindly kind of get involved? Why did they buy into it as well? Why is this such an important idea?
Well, first of all, I should say I'm likewise incredibly grateful for the Be Real gang for jumping in on this. But I think it is also truly testament to the potential that we saw in it, and also the value that it holds right now, right in this moment. And I suppose that's where we start, that, for anyone listening to this, it's likely that you've had a moment during this crisis where you felt like life has kind of been put on pause. I know that I certainly have. I've had conversations with friends in various industries where they've said that, this year's kind of a write-off. And the truth is it's not. And life hasn't been put on pause. As you mentioned earlier, there are so many organizations from around the world, especially in the developing world, that are at breaking point as resources are diminished and global crises are converging. That there is no kind of pause button for that. The truth is they're just having to deal with it. And they really do need as much help as they can get. And on the flip side, on the other side, there are people with incredibly valuable skills that right now have this heightened awareness of how their actions impact others. I like to believe that they're part of this kind of new generation of conscious leaders coming up that want to do good by doing what they do best, especially totally. In this moment, but that they don't necessarily know how they can best contribute. And for them, life isn't on pause either. They want to continue to grow as people, to grow professionally in their careers, but they're not necessarily sure about what opportunities are available to them. In the same sense, they feel like, the possibilities have been diminished for them too. So building on TIE's mission to help grow leaders and better align the public and private sectors, we saw an opportunity to bring both sides of this equation together in a new way. That, again, rather than seeing it as doors closing, the classic one, what is it you always say, Philippa? That necessity is the mother of invention.
Necessity is the mother of invention.
You might have said that about 15 times in our first conversation. But it's so true. I do believe it is so true. Yeah. That actually through this moment, there came an opportunity to do something different on potentially even a greater scale, which is why TIE Accelerator was born. This online, again, our world is primarily online these days, but isn't that an amazing opportunity? An online leadership development program connecting professionals who want to use their energy and expertise for good with these social initiatives from around the world whose future quite literally could depend on this support. So for, individuals kind of sat feeling kind of stuck, rather than watching, waiting, hoping for change to happen, it actually gives people agency over their future to literally be the change. Totally. And really make this moment count. And so, we saw it as like this amazing opportunity for individuals to contribute more, to learn more, to take a leap forward in their own professional development, not by sitting through online modules, not just another Zoom call, but really by working directly, intentfully with peers who share their passions, organizations that really do need their skills to make a greater difference in their lives and the lives of others.
Perfect. That's it. That is it. And so just to summarize then, so what is TIE Accelerator for our listeners? Because this is sort of where all of this is getting to. It's an immersive 6-week online professional development program that pairs cross-disciplinary professionals with a social initiative in the developing world. And it's a chance for purpose-driven professionals, like you say, to step up and advance their leadership skills, to break out of their bubbles and go beyond their silos and embrace new challenges, and a chance to use their expertise in new ways and to help make a positive change in the world. So professionals can make an impact from home with their own 6-person team of carefully selected professional peers, which we obviously put together, and they can fit the experience around their busy lives, only 2 hours a day and virtually from home. And to ensure the success of all of this, they can follow the tried and tested TIE process, which obviously we drive. So, exactly the same process that you went through when you went on TIE and all of the other people. We see this as being quite revolutionary because it allows us now to impact more organizations and communities every year and allows more people to experience TIE, which just makes me so excited. Of course, we're still going to be continuing to offer our corporate offering. So once borders open up again, and I really hope that they do, I imagine early next year, things might start to get back to some kind of normality. But, we will be continuing our immersive experiences, and they of course, will resume. And we have our corporate virtual programs as well. So, those are still happening. But what is so exciting about this, which we've never been able to do before, is it's a chance for more professionals to make a real impact in their lives and the lives of others. And they don't need to rely on their company to support them. It's a way for them to do it themselves, which is just super, super exciting. So, is there anything else that you want to say before we kind of tie things up? Because it's getting to the end. Is there anything else you want to
I suppose the one thing I'll say, and anybody who's worked with me on projects, and honestly, this came very much from when I did TIE, this kind of formula in my head that whenever I approached a new project or a new assignment or anything or a new team, I asked 3 questions, which is, what am I going to learn? What can I contribute? And what will I feel proud of at the end of it? Because you have a good sense of those 3, it gives you a good compass point to know that you're going in the right direction. And so for anybody, like I said, who's at home, who's listening to this right now, who's felt like kind of life has been put on pause potentially through this crisis, that, think about the possibilities of TIE and being able to answer those 3 questions from now to kind of, 6 weeks later. What have you learned? What have you contributed? And what are you proud of? What can you be proud of? And I think there's no experience like it to be able to really feel like you're making a difference.
Amazing. Oh, Mel, I can't tell you how much I appreciate everything. One, I mean, obviously that initial phone call of just us catching up on things, which then led to literally this sort of snowball. I mean, literally a snowball. It's sort of like, you can just sort of see it's like something that just sort of started this small kind of seed, and then it's like, and just, for everything with Be Real. It's been so fun to work so closely with you again. I've adored it. And to the Be Real team again, I can't, thank you. And for this podcast as well, it's just really great to hear you just bring it to life a little bit more and talk, just reminisce over our initial coconut water meetings in Recife, Brazil. So thank you.
No, thank you, Philippa, and thanks to the Be Real team as well for pitching in. It really has been a fun adventure, and we're really excited to see what comes next.
Yeah, so let's get this out there for sure. Well, just to summarize for everyone, so do check out TIEAccelerator.com. Now, this is your chance to get involved. It is open. Before, we weren't able to do this because it was so specific to companies. Now, if you're listening and this sounds like you, get in touch. Check out the website and apply. This really is your chance to get involved. So we're launching our first round of projects. And once these projects have been filled, they won't actually be available anymore. So don't miss out. Sign up now. Again, it's www.tieaccelerator.com. And if you want to learn a little bit more about it, we are actually having weekly info sessions. So if you go to tieaccelerator.com, you click on there. If you click on apply on the bottom of that page, you're going to see a link to an info session. Click on there, and then you can join it and ask any questions that you have. Or just sort of find out more. So, and if you can't get involved, I'd be so grateful with you if you could please just share this podcast, share TIEAccelerator.com with your network. We're taking this step to really try and impact future leaders' lives and also the lives and communities of people all over the world. So you just sharing this link genuinely will make a huge, huge difference. So thank you. Thanks, Mel, and thank you to our listeners.
Thanks, Philippa.
Take care. Thank you. Bye. Hey everyone, this is Philippa again. So this is your chance to get involved with TIE. We have 3 absolutely amazing virtual opportunities available, all rooted in connecting the private sector with the social sector to make change. TIE has never been more necessary than right now. So if you're looking for life-changing leadership development opportunities for your employees and you want your company to impact the world, we've got you covered. If you're looking to step out of your comfort zone and use your skills to make a difference and keen to meet other like-minded professionals with similar values, then our TIE Accelerator program is for you. There are so many options, so I urge you to get in touch. Go to theinternationalexchange.co.uk for more information or just shoot us an email. Better companies, better leaders, better world.